Hello Capricorn! Welcome to your tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you happen to be watching this, it is meant for you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this resonates with you. This is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. Okay? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there is the Death card. Now don't get scared, don't run away, don't click off of this video. The Death card is not what it appears to be. Okay? We're going to put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread. And as I do this, I would also like to say, as I always do, that if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. Continuing here, the path of the Serpent. A lot of court cards today, a lot of majors, a lot of court cards. Should be interesting. Mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Let's go with Rider-Waite-Smith. I think we've been having some pretty good energy with Rider-Waite-Smith lately. And we'll just put that card over there. We're not going to look at it until the very end of the reading. Okay? So I encourage you to stick around and we'll see how that might tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay? So, major, 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 major. It's five majors. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 court cards. So it's almost a balance there. And then we've got some air energy. Now, this air energy, Capricorn, I know we've had quite a colorful history with the air energy, right, in these readings. I don't think the air energy is anything for you to be worried about. I think, in fact, the air energy is showing a really good balance, a really good communication between you and all of these court cards, honestly. But let's find out who these people are and what the context might be, right? We see the Death card. You're in this position, and I think you have been for a while lately, where you have really been renewing yourself, right? A lot of our readings, we've been talking about this cycle, this creative cycle, about finding priorities in your life, about setting boundaries, about focusing on your needs, focusing on your creative expression. And I think you've really leveled up, okay? I think that you are now, well, you know what? Let's just do the Hierophant and the Death card together, because I think these really are the central energy for the next few days for you. Okay. I think the people around you, we see a lot of people around you, friends, family, co-workers, loved ones, they really feel that something's different about you. Okay. They've kind of been able to sense this new energy in you that we've been talking about for a few weeks now. And it's almost as if you are a different person sometimes. It's almost as if you have found some sort of light, some sort of meaning, some sort of inspiration in your life. People are really noticing. So, you know, you might have people approaching you saying, hey, what's different? Did you cut your hair? There's a glow about you. What's going on? What have you been, what's up? Because I think you are kind of radiating this essence. And now we've been talking a lot about the Sun card too, which we don't have the Sun card here today, maybe the Mystery card. We've been talking about you really turning it up, really being yourself, being expressive, not tempering yourself too much, not dialing it down, not dimming your shine, right? And I think people have noticed this new energy about you. It's not that you've suddenly become like some pompous jerk or something. You just have this radiance. You have this calm confidence, it's a real glow. And I think the people around you are noticing that, okay? And I think they're looking at it as a major change in you, like something is quite different. And it could even be a situation where you're being asked, like, to explain what's going on, but how do we do that? You know, how do we explain what's happening within us without really kind of, feeling a little bit foolish? I'm surprised we don't have the Fool energy here. We do have Mercury, though, that's going to be important as we get there to that Magician card. So with the Death card, this is a spiritual transformation that you've been undergoing, okay? And I think that it's been going on for a while, at least in terms of the readings that we've had for you here. This has been an ongoing process. I think now it's reached such a degree that the people around you are saying, okay, hey, something is different. You're like a different person now, okay? And then you add this Hierophant energy on there, and people want to know, what's your secret? What have you been doing? Can you teach me? Can I do it too? Right? So you're in a position now where everybody is sort of flocking to you. We see all these court cards. We see earth, we see air, we see a fire, we see a water court card. You know, that's all 4 elements. And that's telling me that it's literally people from all walks of life, every different kind of person. Let's say all of the coworkers in your company or in the department that you work in. A diverse group of people from different backgrounds, from different interests. They all are approaching you saying, hey, what's your secret? Can you teach me how you're doing this? How you have this confidence, this radiance? How are you transforming yourself in this way? Because again, they really see the difference. You know, and going through these readings, week after week, sometimes we do 2 a week. It just depends on the vibe and depends on the intensity of the message for Capricorn that I get. We've seen this kind of evolution. We've seen this growth. We've seen this transformation in you that now it's so radiant. I think other people are noticing and they want to know your secret. Okay? But I don't think that you necessarily want to be in this role of some kind of a teacher or some kind of a guru, or you know what I mean? You're a little more subtle, a little more humble, and it could be that you're really on the spot now. People want to know. And what are you going to say? There's really nothing that we can't explain this so well that, everybody will understand from every point of view, every walk of life, the diversity of people that we associate with. We don't know how to pick the language, but I think we're learning that. That's kind of what I'm hinting at on the path of the Serpent over here with the 6 of Swords and with that Magician Mercury energy. I think we're beginning to find the words to express what this spiritual growth or evolution means for us, and how we can express that in a way that sounds coherent, right? That sounds kind of logical. But it's not a position you've ever wanted to be in. I think you don't really want to be a teacher in that manner. I think you would rather be a leader. You'd rather lead by example, and we have some fire energy down here. That leads me to believe that you're more of a doer. You're more of, you don't mind being the example, but you don't really, maybe you haven't learned yet how to teach. You know what I mean? So it's something that we're still working on, I think, because you've got to sort of figure out a way, maybe in your own mind, what these experiences are that you've been through. Now, in the recent past, we've got this High Priestess energy. So this is kind of a summary of everything that you've been through recently. Okay, the last few readings, the last couple of months, maybe 3-4 months even. This is the summary of this kind of this spiritual download, this spiritual transformation, evolution, this grace and divinity that's been just entering in your life that seems to be flowing now, open channel flowing into your life. Well, how do we express that? How do we tell other people, like coworkers, family members, what it is that we're doing? That doesn't make us sound like complete fools, And I say fool with a little bit tongue-in-cheek because of that fool. The fool is the wise one, right? And I really am kind of thinking this is going to be the fool over here, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm getting the Fool kind of vibe here, at least, with some of these energies. But this is the kind of spiritual experience, the kind of magical, graceful, blissful, heavenly kind of energy coming into your life that is inexpressible. And it's kind of, again, one of these things where we want to be the example. Maybe we could sort of show other people the way, but we can't really teach it. We can't explain it. Yet we try. Okay. Yet we try, especially with the air energy and the Mercury energy over here. I do think we try to share our experiences with others, you know. Where to go next? Let's finish up with the majors here and talk about this universe or world card. I think that this isn't something you can really express to other people because it's not something that could just be summed up in a 5-minute water cooler kind of conversation. It's something that you've worked years to do, you know? It's something that began for you when you were a little child, I think. And that's back in the day when, through these other readings in the past here on the channel, we've learned that certain influences in your life have led you to tone down your personality, to not be so loud, to calm down, to dim your shine, to humble yourself a little bit too much, right? So the process of evolving out of that, or transforming out of that, or using that as your cocoon, as your chrysalis, to transform into what you are becoming now. It's not an easy process to summarize in a 5-minute water cooler conversation, you know. But I think your friends and your family really are kind of flocking to you. Like I said, we have a card from every element. And they want to know, what is your secret? Well, this is a secret that can kind of best be summarized by just not saying anything, by silence, right? Because any word that we use to express it, any way we try to summarize it, falls so short of being accurate or being complete that it would take forever, right? I was thinking of a large number. It would take forever to explain it. But nevertheless, we try because, you know, you have this association with all of these people, and they could be coworkers, like I said, they could be family members. It could be your friends that have seen this change in you. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with making such changes? And to put it in a very simple way, if you did get a haircut, right? You go in front of your friends and they all want to kind of, you know, fawn over your new hairdo and or your new clothes or your handbag or your shoes or a new car or something. And these are all superficial material things. But we know how uncomfortable that feels. And Capricorn, I think that you feel uncomfortable in those kinds of situations too. You like to do your work. You like to excel. You like to have nice things. You like to have success and accomplishment and satisfaction and fulfillment. But when people all notice and they all kind of gather around, they say, oh, I love your hair, I love your car. We don't like being in that position. So how do we deal with that awkwardness, that discomfort? I don't know. That's the question. That is the $10,000 question. In the future, we do have this Queen of Swords here, and this is just one of many people who are approaching you. And this is kind of a representation of how we do deal with that. And this is kind of a standard response of just being flattered and being gracious, but not really providing any information, right? This is standing a little bit aloof from the situation, from the conversation. We're a little bit detached from it. It's not that we're getting deeply involved in some explanation or some history of our lives and how we've come to this point and what we've been doing. This is just a gracious appreciation, a thank you, and some casual remark, right? Keep it light, keep it friendly. Just a one-liner, everybody gets a chuckle and we all go back to our desks. Because again, this is something that is very personal and private to you. The spiritual work that you're doing, this transformation that you're undergoing, this spiritual success, right? This kind of divine grace, this influence, all of this high priestess energy. And down beneath everything is the Queen of Discs. You are a very pretty private person, I still think that you have these leadership qualities. Maybe you run your department at work. Maybe you are the boss or owner of your own company, your own business. Maybe you are a very prominent figure in your church, temple, lodge, some organization. So people are already looking kind of up to you. People are already looking to you for guidance and to be the example and to be the leader and to, you're a prominent figure. And this could be the family. You could be the head of your family, the kind of the shot caller of your family. But that's different than people really kind of prying into your personal life, into your very personal life, not just your private, at-home, domestic life, but your internal life, right? And that's kind of what this Queen of Swords is doing. She's got that little sword. It's kind of her crowbar. She's trying to pry things out of you. And she really wants to take off that mask. She wants you to take off your mask and really wants to see what's going on beneath the surface. And it's a little invasive, right? It's a little bit too familiar, I think. Because you're a bit of a private person. You're a bit of a solitary person. Yes, you like to socialize. You like to be out and about. You like to be in charge and control. You're, again, the boss or the shot caller or something of your family, of your business. But ultimately, you're a private person, right? And you keep these things very sacred, especially all of this high priestess energy, all of this spiritual experiences that you've been having, the divine grace, the heavenly influence, the spiritual energy. It can't help but manifest as this radiance, but there's so much of it that is internal, that is honestly inexpressible. Yet people are flocking to you, some of them crossing the line, being a little bit too invasive, a little bit too familiar, to find out what's going on with you. They want to really pry the secrets out of you. And there is part of you that wishes you probably could take on more of this Hierophant energy and teach others and show them the way and give everyone that you care about or that you associate with, the opportunity to open up this part of their own life, their own world, and let this priestess energy, this heavenly influence in. But that's not really your vibe. That's not the role that you have. Again, you're more of a leader and a doer than a teacher. Teaching other people how to do, is not really in your wheelhouse, I don't think. Okay. So we see also this fire energy down here below on the path of the Serpent. Now we're kind of making our transition over. And this card represents your leadership. It represents you leading by example, leading by doing. And if we have to teach, we teach by doing. Okay? You want to learn how to do something, you watch me do it, and then you learn what you can. I'm not going to sit here and write it down or give you a lecture. You just watch me, and if you can pick up something, good for you. It seems a little harsh, right? But I think that's the energy that we have. And this is the fire here. This is the Prince of Wands, so it's the air component of that fire. So it's that fire energy, that action, that confidence, that doing that leads us to the air. right? That is expressed through the air. In teaching, it's communicating. You communicate, you teach by doing, okay? But this card is also a court card, so it is representative of one of these many people that are kind of coming at you and demanding to know what's going on and what's been happening and how they can do it too, and can you teach us? So they're trying to put you in a corner where you have no choice but to activate that air energy and give them something. Throw them a bone, right? Give them some instruction, some tidbit of wisdom, or some sort of revelation, a little breadcrumb or something, perhaps. So from this fire energy, we are activating this air, and then we've got, of course, the Six of Swords, the Magician, Mercury energy, and finally another court card over there. So we enter into this six, and this is almost you acquiescing. This is you with some regret agreeing to try to explain things. Okay. And the Six of Swords is a very balanced card. This is finding the best possible summary, the best possible explanation, the best possible expression and communication of what we're experiencing. So it's almost as if because of all of this pressure, you say fine, and you figure out a way to formulate all of this into words. Now, as you know, I'm having a hard time doing this. If you watch the past Capricorn readings, it's been difficult to find the right words to express all of this. So we use metaphor, we use imagery. I'm talking about the heavenly influence, or really turning it up, or not dimming your shine, and really just being that radiant kind of person. But that doesn't say much. You know what I mean because you're experiencing it. If I were to say this to someone else who wasn't experiencing it already, they wouldn't know, probably, what we're referring to, right? We've built our own language, you and I. Right? We're speaking the same language here. So, in some ways, this is you giving in to the pressure and finding a way to express all of these things in a kind of coherent system, in a rational way, in a way that the general person could understand. Now, this isn't just you saying, okay, fine, I'll be a guru or a cult leader or something. No. But through this process of explaining to others, that is how we reinforce our own knowledge, right? That's how we recapitulate, okay? And that really is part of this hermit energy, or not hermit, hierophant, the other H. We had the hermit quite a few times in your past readings. And I think it was through that hermit energy that you did have, where all of these things took place, where you had all of these experiences, and perhaps now switching from hermit to hierophant, right? From keeping our light inside, from having these internal meditative, contemplative experiences, to now having this hierophant energy, where we're being asked to impart that wisdom on others externally, to express it outwardly. Could be a very important step in your development, because the more that we are able to teach others, the more and we're kind of teaching ourselves at the same time. Do you know what I mean? When you learn a new concept, mathematics or some kind of science or something, the best way to really crystallize that knowledge, and that maybe crystallize the knowledge into understanding within ourselves, is to try to explain it to someone else, right? That's how we really solidify that knowledge into understanding in ourselves. And I repeated that twice. So this could be a very important step for you. And we're reluctant to do it. We don't like to do that part of things. It doesn't feel necessary. We don't like people being so familiar or putting us into a corner or pressuring us in that way. But maybe this will be a good thing. Maybe by figuring out how we can possibly put this into words, we'll be explaining it to ourselves in a way that we really come to this understanding that our mind, that our intellect, that our ego says, oh, I get it now. It could lead to even more kind of aha, eureka moments for you. So it's not so much about these other people and trying to explain to them what's going on or to share your wisdom with them. It's about you consolidating and crystallizing and reinforcing all of that knowledge into wisdom and understanding within yourself. Now, 3 times I've repeated it. And that leads us to this Mercury energy, because this Mercury energy is exactly that. This is you repeating things to yourself, right? 3, 4 times now. By explaining to others, we're explaining to ourselves. The more times we hear it, the more we think about it, the more it crystallizes, the more we create the pathways in the neurons, right? The neuroplasticity, the more we can deeply entrench these ideas, right, to where they become a part of us. And that is Mercury. That is this magician. The magician is creating this reality and literally molding the neural pathways in your brain, literally changing the shape of your brain to incorporate this experience in a way that is organic, a way that really brings it down to the physical realm, right, in a very literal way, because it's changing your physical structure. And that's Mercury. That is this magician energy. Now, this is also the trickster. Mercury likes to play games, right? They don't like things just to be serious and straightforward, and no, they like to kind of have fun with it. So this is the practical joke that says, yes, you're going to find a way to express this in a coherent way, a logical way. And you're going to do so because you've been kind of pressured into it, but you know that it's good for you to do this. And people are still going to look at you like you are off your rocker. Right? And we've gone off the rails. And that is the joke of Mercury. To convince you to do something, really convince you to where you think, yes, this is something that I need to do because this is how I recapitulate, this is how I reinforce and crystallize this knowledge and change my neural pathways, and really this becomes a part of me by trying to express it to someone else. You're convinced of that, you do that, and then it still backfires on you. And Mercury's rolling on the ground laughing at you. And that's part of it too. And I think, kind of going on in a castaneda direction, that embarrassment, that kind of that self-consciousness or shame or embarrassment that we might feel in that moment is a crucial part of it, because that brings us into full conscious awareness in that moment. I wonder how many of us tend to remember most strongly, most vividly in our minds, those moments in our life, childhood especially, when we felt really self-conscious, really embarrassed. I think it's those extremes that we tend to remember more vividly. Either those moments of extreme joy and elation, because that'll bring you into a kind of hyper-conscious state, right? But so will shame or embarrassment and those other kinds of experiences. Those bring us into hyper-awareness, hyper-consciousness as well. So I think a lot of us, and maybe leave me some comments, are the memories that are most vivid to you the ones in which you felt the most like embarrassment? Like I could think right now of, my vivid memories are both, yes, the most joyous moments of my life, when my daughter was born, right, when I first met my wife, etc. But I also remember vividly those moments of embarrassment or shame and extreme self-consciousness when I was a kid, a child especially. Now maybe I'm just different, I don't know. But I would expect that to be true for a lot of us. Maybe not so much Capricorn. Maybe Capricorns are not in that so much, but leave me some comments, let me know. Anyway, getting off track a little bit, that's this Mercury energy. And that's the purpose of it, to make us hyper-conscious in that moment so that it really does sink in. And that's going to be what we remember forever, for the rest of our lives. It really solidifies, really crystallizes, stamps that moment into our souls. And that is not just the memory of the embarrassment or the shame, but the information that went with it, the data that we are trying to recapitulate, right? We're trying to consolidate it into wisdom, into understanding. And that's some information, that is some data that you will never forget. I remember when I was in my psychology class in community college, the professor wanted me to get in front of the class and explain a concept, operational definitions. Wanted me to explain a concept that no one in the class really seemed to understand, and I didn't even understand it either, right? So I got up in front of the class and I was red in the face, I was sweating, I was stuttering, I was fumbling my textbook, and I tried my best to explain what operational definitions were. And I think I sort of did an okay job, presenting it. Thankfully, the teacher came back in a few, minutes later, and I was relieved of my suffering. But now I'll never forget operational definitions. I remember the embarrassment and the nervousness, but I remember that concept. Anyway, that's Mercury. Next card we have is the Knight of Cups. Now, thankfully, this is kind of ending things, not on this nervousness, not on the sweaty palms of Mercury, but in the real compassion of this Knight of Cups. And this is yet another person, I think, who is kind of pressuring you into explaining some of this. And, there are going to be people who pick up a little bit of what you're putting down, I think you're going to meet some blowback, of course, but there's going to be people that everyone's going to take away a little something different, And this Knight of Cups person, I think, is really going to take away something that really moves them. A lot of times this Knight of Cups, I say, is somebody offering you something, right? They have that cup with the crab in it, right? That holy grail, and they're trying to offer you a gift. But in this case, I think this Knight of Cups is receiving. They're receiving some sort of blessing from you. It could be a subtle kind of energy transformation. It could be a little tidbit of wisdom that they pick up on. They maybe don't grasp the whole thing that you're talking about, and you've lost them completely. But they walk away with something that really moves them. And I think that is the reward of this, right? Not just this Mercury stuff where you're consolidating your own understanding, but that you manage to really affect even just one person in a way that moves them, in a way that really inspires them, right? I think you've inspired people a lot in your life. You teach by doing. You've inspired people to action in business, in your family, in your life. This is a little bit different. This is a little bit of that kind of spiritual energy, that Shaktipat almost, where you're transferring a little bit of that enlightenment energy, a little bit of that spiritual blessing. And one person even can pick up on that. And that creates a real connection, a real bond. And that really is something special, I think. And I think for you that makes it all worth it, that you realize, wow, I managed to really touch that person. Maybe that's going to inspire something new in you. for something else maybe that you want to do in your life. Maybe you're seeing a little bit more of this Hierophant in yourself, a little bit less Hermit, a little bit more Hierophant. And maybe this sets us off in a different direction for you, Capricorn. I'm really excited now for next week's reading, because I am curious if this is a defining moment, right? When you realize that you were able to really give something to that person. They really felt that connection to. They really took something away. And maybe that is also not explainable, but it's something that's felt, right? It's water energy, something that we really feel. It really moved them. We're going to move over to this mystery card, because I wonder if this is going to be the Fool or if this is going to be the Sun card. It's either 0 or it's going to be the 19th mystery of the tarot. Let's put these back where they belong here. Okay. Yeah, those are my guesses. I don't know. I'm going to give you a second to see if you can predict what this card is. I think Fool or Sun. But we also could do with some more of these pip cards. Maybe we do need some 6 of Discs. 6 of Cups would also be very nice right now, which would also kind of incorporate a little bit of the Fool and a little bit of the Sun. So if that's the card, then I'll tell you why. What's the Page of Cups? So like the Princess of Cups. This is confirming what I said at the end with that Knight of Cups, right? Page of Cups. This is someone who's setting off on a new, kind of a new quest, a new journey now. And I think it is through this experience, through realizing that you were really able to connect with that person in that really kind of special way that's just, very kind of spiritual, a real like sharing of that energy, real connection. And I think maybe it actually will set you off in a different kind of direction. Maybe a little less Hermit, a little bit more Hierophant, maybe. We'll have to wait till the next reading to see where this goes, what kind of new adventure you are embarking upon. Now with the Page of Cups here, this is taking this Knight of Cups experience, and now you've kind of become the student again, in a way, that you are stepping into a different kind of role. You're taking on a little bit of a different job in this kind of spiritual life that you're leading. It could be that you're taking on a student of your own. You're taking maybe kind of a mentor role in things. We'll have to wait and see how this manifests. Maybe you already know. Maybe it's resonating with you, and you can let me know. But I almost feel, especially coming back to this Hierophant, that maybe you're becoming a bit of a mentor. Maybe you're stepping into a new role where you are going to have that kind of relationship with someone. I'm very curious. Capricorn, I love our readings together. I really think that we have some of the most wonderful and special and unique readings together. And I'm so excited when, Capricorn Day comes up and I get to do a reading for you. Right now I'm going to do an extended reading for you. And you can click on the link right there. And you can have access to all of them. Not just for Capricorn. You'll have access to all of the extended readings. There are hundreds of them now, for every sign, right? And I think just about every reading that I've done on YouTube has an extended version on it. Okay, so that's a lot of content if you're interested. Okay, this was your tarot reading. Again, a timeless reading. Whenever you happen to be watching this is the right time for you. And I want to thank you for letting me read for you.